Good morning. My name is Jeff Cameron. On behalf of the RDIEC and Southeast Cornerstone Public School Division, we are about to do a short visit with Tom Frasz. Tom Frasz is the town foreman for Alameda, and he also runs his own company, Cathedral Concrete. So while watching the Spotlight, kids, I want you to think about the students that are watching out there to make sure you enter to win. It's a $50 gift certificate. It's easy. It's just simply a touch of a button, and let us know what you think of our Spotlights. All right, Tom, I'll let you take her away. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here talking to the kids. Okay, so I am a town foreman for the town of Alameda. My path to town foreman kind of took some twists and turns, but at the age of 33, I found myself here. Town foreman, what do you do as a town foreman? I mean, you do a little bit of everything, but I guess I'll start with my story out of high school. I played junior hockey for 3 years out of high school, and my professional life, my work life started at 18. Out of high school, I started working for the city of Regina. Here's the slide for the city of Regina. That's me in the middle there, working hard. I worked in the construction and roadways and construction in the concrete division. So we replaced and repaired and poured brand new sidewalks all around the city of Regina. So I kind of cut my teeth trades wise, I guess. My start was there. So that was 07. We did all sorts of stuff there too. I worked there for 9 seasons, and this was a great summer job through junior hockey and then into college. When I played college hockey for 4 years, I was at the city of Regina the whole time, and it was a really awesome summer job. Good pay. Your option is to move up, or you put in the work and you will move up, and pay goes up when you move up, and that's nice to see when you're a struggling college student. So let's go to the next slide here. After I graduated college, I graduated with a business management degree from Concordia Moorhead, Minnesota. It was a Div 3 program for hockey. I went down there for hockey, but came back with a business degree and took my knowledge from what I learned at the city and started my own concrete business on the side. And actually, I was doing both for a year and a half. I was still working full-time at the city and doing concrete with my company on the side, which is a great way if you don't have, angel investors or a bunch of starting capital. It's a great way to get your business off the ground, but it's a lot of work. So be ready for that if you're trying to start a business. There's not a lot of days off, and when you come home at the end of the day, there's usually something else to do. Other than the actual work itself, there's always admin stuff you have to go through and everything. I did snow removal with my company in the winter times for 2 or 3 years, and the market in Regina got a little it wasn't quite worth it in my mind to battle it out with all the other companies to to keep the snow removal side of my company going. So I did a lot of traveling in my last 4 years of working for myself. When you have winters off, it gives you options. So I went lots of places around the world every winter. You know, if you can avoid the Saskatchewan winter, it's not necessarily a bad thing sometimes. But so here in the slide, this is the example of the work my company did. This is a garage pad with a drain in the middle here. These are interior pours. We did like in-floor heat and stuff too. Ran the lines for inside concrete. And if you have a boiler and the system set up, you can actually heat your buildings through the floor, which I heard is pretty economically sound and a great way to heat a building. You know, driveway replacements, pretty much any flat work. I did everything concrete except for foundation. So anything that lays flat on the ground, I did it. I've done stamped, I've done exposed. Yeah, it's hard work, but it's fulfilling work, and you get to see progress every day, which I really like. When you can start the day and end the day and see what you've done in the day, it's fulfilling. I think anyway, but it's not for people who don't want to put a little elbow grease into it. It's yeah, it can be frustrating some days and hard some days, but when it goes good, it's great. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for someone starting out. You don't need a certificate or anything, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because in concrete, anyone who has a skid steer and a bull float and a trowel says they're a concrete guy. So I found the industry in Regina a little frustrating because it's flooded with concrete companies, and when you're up against pricing wise up against guys who say they're a concrete guy but might have started a week ago, it's and they'll undercut you price wise, but it's you just kind of got to stick to your laurels and know what kind of product you can deliver, and be open and honest with each client, and things tended to work out for me. So yeah. I also did landscaping. Here's an example of a yard in White Bear that I did. I did most of my stuff was in the city, but like I said, I moved around a lot, and actually got introduced to the town of Alameda, where my current job is, through a couple concrete jobs. So sometimes if the work's not rightly available, you have to go where it is, which can be fun and another challenge to take on. So that my concrete company, Cathedral, is now closed because I'm found a new path here and a new professional road to go down here. So now I find myself as the town foreman of the town of Alameda, and the town foreman does a little bit of everything. There's only 2 town employees here, that the admin who does all the books and does the really hard job, if you ask me, but does all the, she's the face of the town, and does all the books and all the calls and the stuff that that I don't like to do. And I do all the work, like the work around town, and operate equipment, and run run the water infrastructure, and sewer and maintenance and everything like that involves the running of a town. So on the left here is my loader, my favorite piece of equipment. It's a K621F loader, and right now we have the 6-way blade attached to it, which can articulate and move, and you can push streets, you can pile snow, you can do anything with, wow, anything snow removal wise with that thing. It's quite the machine. And on the right is my my town shop. It's a beautiful building. I'm sitting in it right now. I'm not quite sure when it was built, because I've only been around here for about 3 years. So, and this is my first year on the job. But it's still, facilities here are great. Next, this is like the most important part of my job for sure, because it affects the most people. The water treatment and distribution. I had to take multiple courses in, one was at SciAS, one's through what's it called? An engineering firm. I can't remember the name of it. And you have to learn how to treat problems with the infrastructure. Like on the left here, here's my pump house, and those are two 5-horsepower pumps that serve the whole town. So all those pipes have to have pressure on them via the pump, and the whole system has to keep running clean, and all be pressurized constantly, or else we'll be dealing with Water Security Canada or Saskatchewan, and they can throw a wrench in your town's progress pretty quick. They can shut down your whole water supply if it's not ran correctly. So on the right there is something I do every day, and that's testing the amount of chlorine and how much chlorine is being used in your water supply. So we're pretty fortunate here in Alameda. Alameda has the cleanest water, maybe in Saskatchewan. I don't know. We're lucky. We have 7 shallow wells that are all naturally sand filtered, which is a very fortunate setup. A lot of other towns have to use tons of different kinds of treatments to get their water drinkable, potable. All we have to do is add a little bit of chlorine, which is almost, it's necessary for every town, but a lot of towns have UV treatment or other sand filters like inside their treatment process. There's biofilters, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that could go on if your water source isn't very clean, but we're quite fortunate in that it's the best water I've ever tasted. I know 3 years ago when I arrived here, I tasted the water coming from Regina, and well, I came from Regina, and I tasted the water out here, and I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is delicious. It's so good. So that's a big part of my job. I do that every day, have to keep meticulous logs of everything I do with the water supply. And if anything goes wrong, I have to report it to water security, and Environment Canada is all involved. And yeah, we got it's a fair amount of stuff to deal with, but it's fun. It's interesting to learn about this kind of stuff when all you've done is concrete and landscaping your whole life, which is, it's cool. It's interesting. On the left here is our picture of our lagoon. Well, the corner of it anyway. I get to ride an ATV in the summer and rip out there, check the health and the organic biome health of our treatment cell and our holding cell. And the cells are lagoons that essentially naturally clean our wastewater. And you have to keep the cell clean and healthy, and all the grass cut around it so the wind can aerate it. And we add different things to the water to keep all the little bugs healthy in there and clean and doing their job. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're hoping to add to our lagoon treatment process here, because the town is getting a new abattoir building, so a meat processing plant, which will make things a little different in our lagoon biome wise. You can imagine there's a lot of animal waste and stuff that will be added to our wastewater, so we might have to make some changes in the next couple of years here at the lagoon, but I'm looking forward to it. It's an adventure every day. On the right here, you can see these green and blue lines are actually our sewer lines and water lines. The blue ones are water, green is sewer underneath our roads here. And I have to, as town foreman, it's my job to make sure that this is all running free and clear of obstruction or breaks, or all the stops and valves are working. It's at first it was overwhelming, but I mean, once you get the lay of the land, it's not so bad. And yeah, it's if you're thinking about municipal government jobs, a town foreman is it's pretty great. I answer to council, which is town council. I don't necessarily have anyone watching what I do or anything during the day. I can have my coffee when I want it, which is great. And as long as the work gets done, and the people are happy, you got to have a pretty outgoing face when it comes to the public, because lots of people have opinions and questions, and you gotta put on your PR face sometimes and handle that. But that's as far as jobs go and work wise, I'm pretty fortunate in this job. It's pretty great. And that's pretty much all I have for slides. If you have any questions, feel free to chime in.
Firstly, Tom, thanks so much. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you presenting us with that today. So, Tom, what about education? If some kids are out there watching, what can you tell them that would be really important? Do you need to go to university or college? I know you just mentioned there's some course you have to take, or can you just step in and learn as you go and take some courses for water and different things like that?
Yeah, all you need, the prerequisite was grade 12. So graduate, get your GED. No, be required to get those water courses, distribution and treatment. There's 2 courses for each. Um, Depending on the size of the town or the municipality that you're running, you may be required more. Because Alameda only has 350 people, and the water treatment process is so actually easy and streamlined. We only require level 1, which was four total courses. So
Well, that's great. So just grade 12 basically, and then taking some courses for water testing. And what about running big machinery like the loader and so forth? Do you have to take a course for a grader or loader or?
yeah, so for each piece of equipment, OH&S requires a ticket, basically. They could be 2-3 days long. You go to a safety place and they run you through how to run it. And obviously experience is probably a good thing, but I don't think you necessarily need one. I'm pretty sure Oxbow just hired a guy who's didn't run equipment necessarily, but he's in management. And there's no there's no better teacher than on the job training.
Oh, absolutely.
But
So Tom,
yeah.
the good, the bad, the ugly, what would you tell students out there? Like as far as wages, the work, sewer, people, can you just give us a little quick brief? I know you've
Yeah,
explained it, but just briefly.
sure. As far as pay goes, it's kind of all over the map for town foreman. I'm actually negotiating next year's contract at the moment. But I'm yearly right now. Like I sign a year contract, and every year is a review and a salary negotiation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So depending on, job performance, and you can make a very good living as a town foreman, and the ranges of salaries are pretty wild. They're all over the map, which is, could be a positive if you're looking to climb the ladder in that regard. As far as duties, like I said, you do everything, and I mean literally everything. I've found myself in some pretty funny situations. Last summer, I actually I I dug a grave and for the town cemetery by hand, and filled it in, and it was quite the experience. I would have never thought I'd be doing something like that, but yeah. And you get calls from town folk, to come and fix something, or you're basically the town handyman. It's a lot of jobs rolled into one, but I figure I'm the jack of all, master of none.
Just a comment. I think you seem to have such a good attitude towards people in general. You're such a personable person. I can tell right away. So I think that's probably bodes well in the job you got, because you're dealing with a lot of public that probably want to pull you in every direction.
Yeah, it definitely helps to have keep a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face, and things usually go better. So
just a question. Did you mentioned like the town, the possibilities and for advancement? Does it, you think, and maybe I don't know if you know much about what other towns do, but is it responsibility or pay change with the size of town you're probably in, or not?
for sure, yeah. Like your starting wage in a small city or a bigger town will reflect your responsibility. Like in a smaller town like this, I only need a level 1, as I mentioned. In a bigger center, I would need level 2, which requires more school, more, so the pay should reflect your responsibility. But the bigger the towns, usually the more employees too. So, you can delegate a little bit of that responsibility, but it's just a one-man show here in Alameda. So
So the bigger towns, they might be managing staff. It might be one of
right.
responsible.
And technically my position is a management position. Like I could have people under me if the town, wanted to hire more people, but
another interesting, just a comment, and just for any students to realize that, you mentioned like you got to test water levels, and there's a lot of technical and almost scientific type, things that you got to be you got to be kind of on top of some of that stuff and understand some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's that was kind of the left turn for me, coming from a trade like concrete and landscaping. Is like now I'm putting chemicals in water and shaking it up and reading levels of, it's a nice change, but it's not the way they teach it. It's not overwhelming. It's just something that, as long as you take meticulous records, like they really drill that into you, that if something bad happens and you don't have records, it's gonna be much, much worse. So just do your due diligence, and it's not so bad, but I find it interesting, the change in kind of not workload, but like the different type of work,
Yeah, that's a lot of variety.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to Oxbow High School and Spencer Copeland. I know he's just a young grade 12 student, being from this town. He comes and he lives in town, but he drives back every day, some days earlier and others whenever he can get off. And so, the high school kids there, I know Spencer loves his job, and he's driving the loader. He's driving some, big machinery, and I believe he's even helped with water, or watch you do it. Is that correct, Tom? Or?
Yeah, he's awesome. I do have a summer student. Well, it's not summer anymore, but I have a part-time student. He's in grade 11, I believe, right? Yeah. And he's awesome. I'm trying to teach him everything I know, because as a manager, my management style through my career has been, if everyone knows how to do your job, that makes your job easier, because your ability to delegate problems is that much simpler.
Yeah.
So he's great.
When Kevin and I were high school, gas was 40 cents a gallon, so we're looking at 10 cents a liter pretty much, and we could drive around and do certain things. And lemonade wasn't that much to buy either when you were out cruising around. So Spencer and some of these kids that are in high school, it's just nice to have a job like this, and you can learn as you go, and who knows, it could lead to a very important cog in their future. It might be their main job. So
for sure. He's 16 turning 17, and he's already got his loader ticket. He'll be getting other tickets too coming up in the summer here, and he'll be doing concrete with me, and he's learning a lot, and he's open to learning, which is important. Like, just have an open mind if you take a job like this, because you're doing a lot of stuff that even me as the foreman, I'm like, I don't really know how to do this, but I'm gonna look it up and read some manuals, and don't fake it till you make it, but do your best to do a good job, type thing.
Yeah, no, that's great. I really like that saying, fake it till you make it. That's pretty good. Anyhow, Tom, unless Kevin has any more questions, on behalf of the RDIEC and all of the school divisions out there and students out there, thank you so much. Very informative presentation. And you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of your week and career moving forward.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Thanks, Bob.
Nice meeting you, Kevin.